Over the next 20 minutes, we hope to showcase what happens here in St. Peter's College as part of our open night event. I know for our 6th class students, this is not what you would hope for, and we would have loved to have you here on site and show you around the campus. But hopefully this video will give you some insights into the various subjects and programmes on offer. Rest assured, if you receive an offer of a place here in St. Peter's, we will have a further opportunity for you to investigate subject options and find out what the best subject option is for you. So I hope you enjoy the video. Hi, my name is Deirdre May and I'm Principal of St. Peter's College in Dunboyne. St. Peter's College began in 1994 after 2 years of hard work and lobbying by a group of parents from the primary schools who wished their children to remain in Dunboyne for their second level education. In September 1994, the school began with 75 students, and now, 26 years on, we have a school population of 1,235. St. Peter's College has 3 core values: Docus, Ducus and Deacus. Docus is hope. We develop students' self-esteem, self-confidence and self-respect and encourage them to discover their talents. Ducus is faithfulness in our collective heritage and our cultures. We encourage students to have a positive outlook in their lives and to make a positive contribution, be that here in school or in the wider Dunboyne community. Deacus, we encourage diligence, commitment and hard work for all our students towards their learning and to our teachers towards their teaching. It's very important that parents understand what we want to achieve here in St. Peter's College. We want what you want. We want our students to achieve academic excellence, to be confident people and people who use their talents and discover new ones. St. Peter's College is a true community. We aim for all students to feel valued, safe and comfortable. That is the only environment where students will be able to grow and learn. In St. Peter's College, we prioritise positivity, respect and good interpersonal relationships between all members of our large school community, between students and teachers, admin staff and support staff. They are the core values of our school culture. We want students who leave St. Peter's College to be confident, resourceful, caring and ambitious young adults. St. Peter's College is a place of learning. Our teachers facilitate this by being learners themselves, constantly updating and enhancing their skills to create the best possible outcomes for their students. We offer holistic curriculum. Every area of a child's development is important, be that academic, well-being or extracurricular. In St. Peter's College, our students are active, creative, independent, collaborative learners, prepared for college and the workplaces of the future. I now invite you to watch the rest of the video where you'll be able to see subject specialists discuss their subjects and have a look around
here in St. Peter's College. I'm delighted to have this chance to sit down and talk with you today.
So how has coronavirus impacted the school and what are the changes that were made?
Well, traditionally teachers owned the classroom and the students would travel every 40 minutes to meet their teacher. But now we've made them classroom based, so the students are based by year group in a corridor and the teachers travel to them. So this cuts down on the movement. But we've also placed the students with their own door, their own entrance to and from the school and their own entrance to and from the gate from leaving the community on entering the campus. We've increased sanitation around the area as well. So every classroom door has a sanitation station on the outside. Every entrance to the school building has sanitation, and we've increased supervision around the corridors. So teachers are watching the students, making sure they're comfortable and they're wearing their masks. And I have to say, I'm very proud of the students and the work they've done so far to date. They're doing a terrific job.
And how will students continue to learn in the case of another school closure?
Well, what we've done is we've actually placed, students bring 2 school bags, so they have a kind of a locker bag which stays under their table, which will help them stay organised and allow them to stay classroom based for the day. And their own classroom bag then that they will carry through the building with them. But when they begin school life, you're given a computer password, an email password, which will then help the teachers link you up to a Teams event. And each teacher creates a Teams group per class. The students can then log in and they know either via a streamed live lesson or a PowerPoint presentation, or just even a safe space to store their notes so they can be even more organised as they go through the classroom day. On top of that, while they're here, we've changed the canteen, so we have split breaks. So some students take their break at an earlier stage, so there's time for them to go to the canteen, still get their food, and have their break back in their classroom, and then go outside and get some fresh air.
That's all I have to ask. Thanks, Miss.
Thank you very much.
My name is Leonora Acton and I am one of the Deputy Principals in St Peter's College, and I have responsibility for the junior cycle students, so that is the students of first, second and third year. So as a result, I will be working very closely with all of our new first year students and their CANRA and tutors as they join us next year. So kindly, I believe you have a couple of questions for me.
About the curriculum that's offered.
Sure. The curriculum that we offer to our new first year students includes the basic subjects. So we have our core subjects: English, Irish, maths, history, geography, science, our language, our wellbeing area and religious education. So a lot of students will want to know about the choice of languages, and we ask you to select your choice of language in advance of coming into the school. So the languages that we offer are French, German and Spanish. And students who are offered a place here will be given an options form, and we would ask you to fill out on your options form your choice of language in order of preference. So please do put them down, option number 1, 2 and 3. And we will endeavour to get you into your first choice. However, unfortunately, sometimes the languages can be oversubscribed, and when that happens, it is a random selection by the computer. Now, we also offer religious education as part of our core curriculum here. And the religious education programme that we offer is the NCCA curriculum, and it is for students of all faiths and none. And it also exposes students to not only the religious interpretation of life, but also the non-religious interpretation of life. So there are some parents that sometimes have a few further queries on that, and there is a circular, number 62 of 2018, which will give you more detail on the religious education that we offer here. And finally, in terms of our core provision, I will tell you about our well-being. Now, as part of the junior cycle, we're allowed to offer 400 hours of well-being over the junior cycle programme, and that includes the subjects of CSPE, Civic, Social and Political Education, also SPHE, Social, Personal and Health Education, and PE. And the reason why we put so much emphasis onto student well-being is because it is well established that students who are happy in school also perform to a higher academic standard.
And can you tell us a bit about the optional subjects on offer here?
Absolutely, the optional subjects. Now, when students come in and they will be, again on their option form, they'll be asked to choose their options. And in a few moments you'll get to hear lots of the teachers talking about the subject options. And so I would ask you to, listen to what is being said there on the various subjects. When you are selecting your subjects, you're going to choose 2 optional subjects. What I would say to you, and really my strong advice on this, is to go for the subjects that you have a flair for, an interest in, the kind of things that you can get passionate about. So are you really mathematical? Are you really artistic? Do you love to bake? It's kind of obvious, the subjects where you will perform really, really well. So the optional subjects that we offer are business, home economics, art, wood technology, graphics, engineering and music. And we also offer 2 short courses. And so this is again a new initiative brought in by the new junior cycle. And the short courses are run over the 3-year programme. You do 2 short courses in that time. The subjects that we offer as part of our short courses here are philosophy, artistic performance and coding. Again, we ask students to rank them in order of preference, and we run with the 2 subjects that have most interest in them. And the short courses are not examined at junior cycle level, but however are examined as part of the CBAs, the classroom-based assessments that are assessed by the teachers in the classroom.
Thanks, Miss.
You're very welcome.
My name is Brian McNamara. I'm one of the Deputy Principals here in St Peter's College. We should thank you for considering sending your young child to St Peter's College and considering entrusting us with the care of your son or daughter. It's a role we take particularly seriously in our school, as we strive systematically to create an environment where your son or daughter will experience a safe, secure learning environment. We want your child to be content, and if your child is content, we know they will flourish. We have high expectations and standards in terms of students' participation and adherence to school's code of behaviour. The code of behaviour, of course, is a mandatory requirement from the 1998 Education Act. But really, it's our reference for living in harmony in a school. And it's predicated on the principles of respect for all and the creation of a positive learning environment. We will not, indeed we cannot, tolerate any student's well-being or learning potential or learning experience to be compromised by any other student in the school. And that's where our code of behaviour gives us guidance on how to reconcile and move forward in those situations. And all parents are expected, it's a requirement, that parents will sign up to a school's code of behaviour and supporting policies before a student joins our school. Related and dovetailing with the code of behaviour will be many other policies, such as our anti-bullying policy and our acceptable use policy. And those policies are there, of course, to give us all an understanding and give us guidance as to what is acceptable and how we can work together. Of course, we are in the redemption business. Children aren't going to make perfect decisions all the time, and they will falter and they will stumble. And we pick them up and we give them another chance. However, we would expect, and we do expect, that students will show a positive disposition to learning from those situations. Now, your child's well-being is ultimately of the greatest importance to us, and to ensure that that is brought about in a systematic way, we will always ensure that there is one good adult in the school for your child. So our pastoral system is predicated on ensuring that that takes place. The first point of call will always be a tutor. Each student is assigned to a tutor class. So at most, a tutor, who's a teacher in our school, will have 30 students. And a student would typically then be part of a class that's called after that teacher. So for example, a teacher such as Mr. Healy, teaching first years, it would be one Healy will be the tutor group. That teacher is very special to that student. You as a parent should feel, and indeed should pursue, contacting that teacher whenever there's an issue you would like to discuss regarding your child. We then would have a Cianara in place. It's effectively your head. And he or she will then have authority and ownership for the whole year group. Really importantly, we have a number of students, transition year students, who are specifically trained as monitors. And those students advocate and mediate on behalf of students, particularly first year students. So they are very involved, particularly at the beginning of the year, with the induction program for all first year students. But they are there throughout the whole year to work with students and be, if you like, a conduit for communication with adults, where students feel shy or unwilling to maybe make direct contact with the adults in the school. So they play an incredibly important part in our system. We also have other very key personnel in our school to help deliver our care agenda. They include our chaplain, Miss McParland, our counsellor, Mr. O'Connell, who's a trained psychotherapist, and two guidance counsellors, Miss Collins and Mr. McCarthy. All of those personnel, with the rest of us, act to ensure that the best service can be delivered possible in our school. And if a student feels, or we adjudicate that a student is in need of those services, they are entitled and encouraged to avail of any and all of those services in the school. To coordinate that, we work on a weekly basis where we meet as a care team. those personnel plus deputy principals and principal meet weekly to look at the progress and well-being of all our students. In summary, I just want to say there are 4 underpinning principles that drive our care system in St Peter's College. That is that the student must feel safe and valued. High standards pertain for behaviour and prevail at all times. That students have someone to turn to in need. And lastly, that they would develop their abilities associated with their and reach their full potential. So I hope if you send your student, your child, I should say, to our college, that you will feel validated with that decision. Thank you.
Hi, Mrs. Zari, if we ask you a few questions.
Yeah, of course.
So why should I choose music?
So I think if you're interested in music and you've had an interest outside of the school, and perhaps people have told you you're a bit of a singer, or perhaps you like listening to guitar, maybe you've taken up the guitar, it's a fantastic subject to take if you have an interest in music. Yeah.
And would I have to play an instrument?
No. I mean, a lot of people sing, and that is, of course, an instrument in itself, and that's perfect for the practical. You could do your exam just using your voice. But we do ukulele in class, we do a bit of singing, we do an awful lot of introduction to different instruments, so then you may take up an interest and maybe learn it outside of the school as well.
And what's in the junior cycle course for music?
The junior cycle course is a varied course, so you do listening to different styles of music, a bit of jazz, a bit of pop, a little bit of classical music. You prepare for your practical, and then there is composing as well. And that would be using music technology, so that's in using computers, which is a fantastic way to write music now.
That's it, thanks a million.
Yeah, well, I hope we see you all at the in music class next year.
Thanks, that's it.
Thank you.
Bells won't chime, show us things that we couldn't see. Show us things that we couldn't be. These streets just go nowhere, nowhere. These streets just go nowhere, nowhere. Telling tales of modern life, move us through these days of strife. Show us things that we couldn't be. Show us things that we couldn't see. These streets just go nowhere, nowhere. These streets just go nowhere, nowhere.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what does CSP stand for?
So CSP stands for Civic, Social, Political Education, and it's a 3-year programme we do. We meet once a week, and it's part of an area, area of learning called Wellbeing. And there's different strands to that where we have CSP, SPHE, Social, Political, Health Education, PE, and we've guidance. So it's really about looking at the world we live in and interrogating the world, Kyle, we live in, and how well are we doing and can we do any better? That's the main part of it. There's 3 strands to it. There's human rights strand, there's global citizenship strand, and there's looking at democracy as well in the world. There are 3 main strands we look at.
And have you any examples of what you do in class?
Yeah, well actually now, Kyle, I brought along a little bottle here. So this bottle here was something which students actually decided they wanted to interrogate the world around them, and it was kind of basically looking at the bottle and how well are we doing with regard to disposing of bottles and actually stopping the production line in the world at a global level, and then we can look at an international level, European and national, and then at an Irish level. So students 2 years ago in the school, they're now current 3rd years, they looked at this and they said, you know what, we're producing a huge amount of bottles in the school. I think it's over 1,000 bottles every 2 weeks they were being thrown out into the regular bin, and they decided to do something about it. So we now have a system where locally we've actually gotten rid of bottles out of the school. They're banned from the school, and everyone really should have a single-use plastic bottle. So I suppose it's about creating global citizens. If we look globally, but we can act at a local level to try and improve the world that we live in. And that was something which the first years actually came up with. And we can't change the world, but we can change our own actions. And that's what CSP is about, creating global citizens.
So thanks a million.
Very well.
Sorry, miss. Is it okay if we ask you a few questions?
Yeah, absolutely, no problem.
What are the changes to maths with the new junior cycle?
Yeah, so there's a couple of big changes with maths for the junior cycle. There's only 1 paper now. So usually maths would have been a 2-paper exam lasting 4 hours. There's now only 1 paper, and the exam is only 2 hours long. There's also no foundation anymore, so it's a higher level or an ordinary level of choices for our students.
Thanks. Can you tell me about the CBAs?
Yeah, so with the new junior cycle, there's a classroom-based investigation in 2nd year and in 3rd year. In 2nd year, it's a mathematical investigation, so the students can choose that investigation themselves, and they can do it on anything they want. How much does it cost to tile a bathroom floor, or something like that. Then in 3rd year, the investigation, CBA 2, is a statistical investigation, so they'll all be doing a similar investigation for that one. And based on that CBA, they'll complete an assessment task that is worth 10% of their junior cert grade.
Right, thanks. When are the maths classes streamed?
Okay, so we stream them in the beginning, or at the beginning of 2nd year, and they're all based on the common exams that the students will sit during 1st year.
Thank you very much.
No problem. That all?
Can we ask a few questions?
Absolutely.
So what do you do in art in 1st year?
In art in first year, we would do things like drawing, painting. We'll go on to do things like modelling, working with clay, plaster Paris, some lino printing, even some calligraphy.
And you have to do art history in the junior cycle.
History in junior cert art. We will look at some artists, but the theory of art doesn't start unless you do leaving cert art in 5th year.
And what if I'm bad at drawing?
Don't worry about it. Most people that come into the classroom have yet to learn the basics of drawing. So we'll teach you how to draw and we'll improve your skills working year upon year. But it's not all about drawing. We've got painting and all the other elements of art as well.
And how am I examined for junior cert?
For junior cert art, you do a CBA in 2nd year after Christmas, and then you do another CBA in 3rd year, which then rolls into your junior cert project where you make 2 pieces of art. And then the examiner comes in and examines that during the summer after it's made.
Right, sir, do you mind if we ask a few questions?
Yeah, quite, yeah.
Like are involved in the tech department.
So we have engineering, we have graphics, and we have wood technology, and they're all for the junior cycle, and then they evolve into senior cycle with engineering, construction studies, and design and communication graphics.
Do any girls take on these subjects?
Yeah, we'd have maybe about 25% of girls in each subject out of the 24, and currently in first year I have a class of 22 and 12 of them are girls.
Good. And is it all practical or is there some theory involved as well?
Majority of it is practical, but we do have to do some theory. At the moment, under the current guidelines, we're doing all theory because of the use of saws and sharing equipment. So we're doing all theory and hopefully we'll get to start practical fairly shortly.
Good. What type of projects do you make in first year and do they get more difficult going towards the junior cert?
Well, it's for in wood technology especially, it's more about the own students' design. So in first year, more often than not, it'll be I give out a project and the students will replicate it. But once it comes into 3rd year and at the end of 2nd year, they start to design their own projects. Maybe have the same, everyone has the same final product, but maybe a different design.
That's it. Thanks, mate.
Lovely, thank you.
Hi, sorry if you asked a few questions.
Yeah, of course, go ahead.
So what are the real life skills acquired if you study business?
So some of the skills that you learn in business is all kind of related to the business environment outside of school. So things like preparing budgets, which is related to both personal finance and then the likes of the government and businesses in general. We teach students how to pay their taxes in terms of calculations, what the taxes mean. They know how to read and interpret a wage slip. So although it's not something that they will be doing in the next year or whatever, but it's something that they do in the next 3-4 years when they eventually start work. So it's all about creating real life examples of what they will do then going forward.
Good. And how has the business curriculum changed and how is it different than before?
So it's changed in a couple of ways, probably for the better. So it's now divided up into 3 strands. So you have personal finance, you have economy, and then enterprise and entrepreneurship. So it now contains 2 classroom-based assessments. So you have one in 2nd year, one in 3rd year, and that again promotes entrepreneurship, enterprise, and then the skills that they use then is really brought into the classroom-based assessments.
Good. And what are the leaving cert options if a student studies business at junior cycle?
So if they study junior cycle or business at junior cycle, they have 3 options to go into: economics, accounting, and business. So again, the 3 strands at junior cycle are kind of clearly related to economics, accounting, and I suppose business in terms of enterprise and entrepreneurship. So if a student takes a liking to, say, the financial side of things, the option for them would be to go into accounting at senior cycle. Same with economics. If they take a love of economics at junior cycle, the option is to go into any. But they can go into any 3. It's where their strengths lie.
That's it. Thanks,
Okay.
Míle.
Thanks very much.
Thanks. You asked a few questions.
No problem at all.
So does St. Peter's offer PE for all?
Yes, we offer PE to all year groups. Some schools cut down their offering after junior cert, but we offer to all year groups the whole way through.
And what activities does St. Peter's offer in PE?
We offer a wide range of activities, from the conventional invasion games, your footballs, your hurling, out to a little bit more unconventional orienteering, hiking, canoeing when you get to transition year, and rock climbing.
And how has COVID impacted on PE?
COVID with PE, at all times our focus is on the health and safety of the staff and the students. So we are obviously wearing masks the whole time, but we kind of are very much on the can-do attitude. So we're outdoors as much as possible, and once we're outdoors, we're safe. We have our 2 meters apart, and we focus on the positive. So we're trying to not let us affect us too much, and that's the kids are coming on board with that hugely.
That's it, thanks a million. Hi sir, do you mind if we ask a few questions?
Absolutely, go for it.
So do you have to pick science to study at junior cert?
No, junior cert, it's all sciences that are studied together, so it's just known as junior certificate of science. So that includes some physics, some biology, some chemistry, and also, since the new junior cert has come along, it includes some earth and space. So we teach about space again now, which is great.
And do you do many experiments?
We do loads of experiments. You can see we're actually in a science lab here, so we've got 6 science labs in the school, which is really good. It means that all science lessons are for most of the time, if not all the time, in science labs. All manner of different experiments that we carry out, all done obviously in safe conditions and things, but you know, we have got fully functioning, fully equipped science labs for junior cert, which is brilliant.
And do you cut up frogs?
Do I cut up frogs? Well, I personally don't cut up frogs, however you can cut up frogs. It depends on which teacher you get. So some teachers cut up frogs. Other teachers like me are a little bit squeamish, so I don't cut up frogs. And if you don't want to cut up a frog, you don't have to cut up a frog. But if you do want to cut up a frog, and cutting up frogs is your thing, science is for you.
Thanks for doing that.
No, not at all.
So when are applications for first year available?
Applications are available on Friday the 2nd of October.
And where can people get an
They
application?
can get them on our school website or from the main office here.
And what's the closing date?
The closing date is the 26th of October at 4 p.m.
Thanks, miss.
Thank you.
Ask a few questions.
Normal.
So what is religious education?
So religious education is about learning about the 5 major world religions and other broad topics to strengthen people's respect and their knowledge about other people's practices.
And is it an exam subject?
Within St Peter's College, basically the students do it from 1st to 3rd year's exam. There's 2 CBAs involved in the junior cert cycle, and then for the leaving cert it's not an exam.
And do you focus on just one major world religion?
No, so with the new junior cycle for religion, they cover on the 5 major world religions and then another broad range of topics, so morality, human search for meaning, poverty, so there's a broad range of topics.
Thanks. Exam focus?
No, so religion, you have 2 CBAs in religion, so throughout 3 years you'll be doing a lot of project work in religion, and that will then go towards your junior cert results. So you have 2 CBAs worth 10%, and that means your whole exam, you have that project work then as well.
Well, is it alright if we ask a few questions?
Oui, bien sûr.
So why study French?
Alors, pourquoi apprendre le français? So why study French is a really good question. French is spoken all over the world. It is an official language in 29 countries, but it is spoken in Europe, obviously in France, also in Belgium, Switzerland, to name but a few. It's spoken in many countries in Africa, and also it is spoken in America and the Caribbean. So it's a language you will use anywhere other than France. It's all over the world.
And is French difficult to learn?
No, c'est pas du tout difficile. It would be true to say it's a little bit difficult, but that's true of Spanish, that's true of Italian or Irish. So if you are interested in French, I think you'll find it an easy language and an enjoyable language. Some words you might already know are words like café, chocolat, croissant, cul-de-sac, restaurant, garage, village. These are actually all French words.
And are there any connections between Ireland and France?
Actually, there are many connections, and I'll just mention one that's happened this week. We had Sam Bennett from Carrick-on-Shore, as you know. He won Le Maillot Vert, that's the green jersey, and he won that in the Tour de France, which is fantastic. Before him, we had Stephen Roche, and he was also another famous Frenchman to take part in the Tour de France. Going back over the centuries, we've had St. Patrick, who's also spent time in France and Ireland. We have many, many connections between the two countries. I suppose it's also important to say that France is the official language of Europe, the European Union, and the United Nations. So that's just a flavour of Le Français. And don't forget, it is a place of great beauty. Some of these places you can see behind me. Paris, the capital, très très connu. And it's a place where you can eat the best of food, whether it is le fromage, cheese, croissant, pain au chocolat, or une baguette.
That's it, thanks a million.
Okay, merci.
Can I ask a few questions?
Not at all, fire away.
So what is geography?
So geography is the study of the earth and how it was created and all the people that live in it. So we look at how they interact with the globe as well.
And what topics will I study in the junior cert?
So when you come into the junior cert, you'll be studying the earth, how it was created, volcanoes, earthquakes, rivers. We'll also study people and where they live. And we will look at soils, animals, plants and biomes as well.
Why should I study geography?
You should study geography because we learn all about the different cultures and people that live on the earth. We learn about how to take care of the planet and also to leave behind the planet that's going to be nice and healthy for our future.
So what am I expected to do as a student?
So as a student, you're going to have to do your homework every week, right? You're going to have to do a CBA 1, so that's a classroom-based assessment in first year. So you might design a poster or do a project. And then we have a CBA 2 in second year. Again, it's going to be a project based on something that we're studying. And then in your final year, we have your junior cert exam, which is short questions and a couple of long questions.
Thanks for being here.
Hello everyone, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to the Career Guidance and Counselling team here in St Peter's College in Dunboyne. My name is Miss Collins and to my right is Mr McCarthy and Mr O'Connell. And together we provide a range of services and supports to students during their time with us here in the school. We provide personal and social guidance, career and vocational guidance. And I'm going to ask Mr McCarthy to take it from there, please.
Right, thanks Ms Collins. In St Peter's College, when you come in first year, we try and make sure that you're up and running by organising study skills for the students themselves and for parents in the evening time as well. As we work through the junior cycle, we make sure that students are aware of the senior options ahead of them and give them basic information about the different types of careers. By the time they go towards the senior cycle, we're very much involved about picking the right courses if they want to go to third level and giving the correct information about apprenticeships and other employment opportunities. So I very much look forward to meeting you and helping you through your time in St. Peter's. Mr. O'Connell?
My name is Mr. O'Connell, I'm the counsellor in the school, and what we offer is personal counselling. So if you have difficulties adjusting to your new school, or you have problems, or you have anxiety, or you find subjects very difficult or whatever, you can come and talk to us. It's easy to make an appointment, or you can come straight to the counsellor's office, or you can go to a teacher or your parents and they can set up an appointment with me. So we look forward to seeing you when you come next year.
Hi Mr O'Connell.
Hello boys.
Can we ask you a few questions?
Absolutely.
Thanks. So, why study history?
History is without a doubt the greatest subject of them all in school. It is definitely the most interesting, and most kids when they pick it, they absolutely love it.
And what will people learn about history?
You learn about lots of different things, going all the way back to ancient times, from ancient Rome all the way up to World War II. You learn about the great dictators of Europe and how Ireland is the way it is. We learn a lot about Irish history and our relationship to Britain in the past. A very wide variety of different things you learn about, and it's extremely beneficial to you.
Good. And how will studying history help me as a person?
There's lots of ways that learning about history can help you develop as a person, especially as you get older. Depending on whatever you want to do with yourself in life, I think everybody needs to have a good, strong understanding of history. If you ever decided one day you want to become the Taoiseach, it'd be very, very hard to do that without a good understanding of the past, especially in Ireland and beyond.
Thanks a million, sir.
No problem.
Can you tell me a little bit more about history specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. So in first year you learn about lots of different things about what the nature of history is, how we study history, how we look out for things like bias and propaganda, how we go through old letters and documents and even things like old pottery from ancient Greece. You learn about how archaeologists interact with all of those different things. You'll go and study the plantations of Ireland. You'll learn all about the different revolutions, such as the American one, the French one, and the failed rebellion of Ireland of 1798. Fast forward a little bit then, you'll go all the way up towards the modern era, where we have a little bit of discussion on the First World War and then a lot of discussion on the Second World War, where you learn about people like Joseph Stalin, Hitler and Mussolini and things like that. In the Irish context, you learn about people like Michael Collins and Eamon de Valera and Pádraig Pearse and some of the famous names we associate with 1916. And you have one CBA to do, where your teacher will guide you through the process. It's very, very easy. It's nothing to worry about, where you'll pick some portion of the past to focus on and you get an opportunity to write about that. If you go and study history in Leaving Cert, which I highly, highly recommend, it's even more interesting if such a thing is possible. You get the chance to do a project, and it'll be your first little experiment of actually being a historian. You'll figure out how to use the skills of researching and interpreting evidence, and you'll do a write-up which is worth 20% of your Leaving Cert grade, and lots of kids tend to do very, very well in that, and before they sit down to do their exam they might as well have 18-19% already in the bag. So again, really, really recommend studying history in St. Peter's College.
Thanks very much. Hi, Mr. Carr.
How are you, Kyle? How are things?
Good. Is it okay if we ask you a few questions?
Of course it is, shoot.
So why is there a dog in our school?
This is Travis. Travis. Travis is a community dog, and this is a pilot scheme we're running with the Irish Guide Dogs, where a dog who would have incredible level of training comes into a school facility and helps people in all sorts of ways, be it kids who are anxious or nervous, or even just to make people smile when they see a dog running down the corridor. He's incredibly well trained. His behaviour is excellent. It's just something different to have in school, something nice.
Very good. And what is learning support and how is it carried out in the school?
Learning support in primary school is called resource. So in secondary school it becomes learning support, and it's basically how we help students who have learning difficulties or who are highlighted in any number of ways with any difficulties they might have in school. We carry it out in so many different ways. There's team teaching, there is small classes, there are one-on-one with different teachers. We do lots of different testing on students. We do a huge volume of work, but we'd like to highlight that we try to leave nobody out, everybody is included, and we talk to all teachers and all students about what we do.
And if someone doesn't have a diagnosis, can they still get help?
Of course they can. The new model in secondary schools is that once a problem is identified with the teachers, help can be sought and put in place.
That's it. Thanks a million.
Thank you very much. Hello Kyle, how are you? You're busy today.
Is it okay if you ask you more questions?
Of course it is, Kyle, shoot.
So what is on Cranog?
On Cranog is an ASD unit in St. Peter's College. It's a place for kids with sensory issues to go, so it's a quiet environment in our secondary school.
And how many students are in on Cranog?
There are only 6 students in on Cranog. They are second and third year students, but there's only 6. There's only ever 6. It's never bigger than that.
And what do the students in on Cranog do?
The students in Cranog do they do the junior cert, so they do the normal junior cert subjects. Some students have a reduced timetable, so they do less junior cert subjects, and they can access some student subjects in a different manner. So they still do maths, but they might do a different maths exam for their junior cert. We also do things like life skills, and at the moment they are making chutney in here with apples that we grew in the school grounds. It's just a quiet, nice environment in our school for kids who might struggle in the hustle and bustle of a general school.
Can we ask a few questions? So, do you need any Spanish coming into the class?
No, you don't need to learn, or you don't need to know any Spanish at all. We start from the very beginning. But you will actually be surprised at how much Spanish you will already know. There's a lot of words in Spanish that are the same as they are in English. So, for example, elefante is elephant. If you're going to el hospital, you're going to the hospital. So there are a lot that you'll be surprised with yourself that you already know. It's also a very phonetic language, so it's pronounced exactly as it looks written down, so that will make things easier for you as well.
And what would you usually do in class?
So in class we focus on the 4 skills, so they're reading, writing, listening and speaking. So we cover all of those by doing things from the textbook, things from, we will use games, pair work, group work. We also learn about culture, not just the culture of Spain, but the culture of other Latin American countries or Hispanic countries as well. So North America, South America, and even parts of Africa that speak Spanish as well.
And what would I need for class?
So in class we generally tend to use 2 copies. You'll have one hardback A4 copy and then a small, softer class copy. A dictionary is really useful as well for looking up words, and it'll help you at home. And then at home, a good internet connection will help you because there are a lot of apps and YouTube videos that you can use to help you with your pronunciation and just to kind of maybe to help you develop your language as well as you go through the years.
Thanks a million.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hi Miss, sorry if you ask a few questions.
Absolutely.
So what kind of texts are covered in first year English?
In first year English, a wide variety of texts are covered, including poetry, drama extracts and short stories. The students also do a novel and the teacher decides that later in the year and will inform students. And we also do non-literary texts like newspapers, letters, advertisements. And one of the interesting bits about the course is also an oral component. So practicing making a speech, a presentation or an interview.
And how does the school encourage reading?
Reading is encouraged very strongly in the school. We take on some initiatives like the Drop Everything and Read initiative, where all the students have a book in their bag and they can read that in their free time or in free class. We also celebrate International World Book Day over the week with activities and quizzes in class. We ran a spelling bee for first years last year, which was really popular. There's a book club, and sometimes we get authors in to talk about their books. And then obviously in class, when students are discussing and enjoying reading novels with their teacher.
Very good. And how does English impact students in the longer term?
English actually goes way beyond the English classroom, because if you think about it, across the board students need to know how to comprehend questions and know what's expected of them when they're answering questions, and that will be relevant for all their subjects. Then things, skills like writing a good essay, structuring a well-written and a well-researched article or project is really good for all subjects. And if you think more practically, having a good cover letter and CV can help students in the longer term for employment opportunities as well.
Thanks, Vinny.
Thank you.
Hi Miss, sorry if you ask a few questions.
Sure, come on in.
Thanks. So is home ec all cooking and sewing?
So the home ec course changed 3 years ago. With the new junior cycle, there's come about a lot of changes in the subject. It used to be all cooking and sewing, but fortunately now we learn a lot more about the foods that we're cooking and why we cook foods. We still do a little bit of sewing in second year as part of our classroom-based assessment, but no, to summarise, the subject is not all cooking and sewing.
And what do you study in the junior cert?
So in the junior cert, this subject is split into 50% practical cookery exam and 50% theory. So the cookery exam takes place in third year, and that's 50% of the overall marks. So we work towards that throughout first year, second year and third year. The other 50% is the theory side of things. So we learn things like nutrition, we learn about the food that we eat and why it's good for our bodies and how it fuels us. We learn about the family and we learn about the environment, we learn about recycling, we learn about textiles and craft, we learn about fashion and clothing. So it's a very diverse subject in terms of what we learn.
And do any boys usually do home ec?
Yes, we always have a couple of boys every year. With the changes again in the new junior cycle, this subject has definitely become more gender neutral, so it's less aimed at females, and as home ec teachers, we are very aware that the subject can be sometimes viewed as a girl's subject, so we try to make it as gender neutral as possible. And at the end of the day, everyone needs to know about food and nutrition and their diets, whether male or female.
Hi, do you mind if you ask a few questions?
No, it's fine.
So how many students on average do you serve every day?
Approximately between 300 and 400. Two different stations, this station and a different station.
And what's your best seller?
Curry, chicken curry.
And how do your prices vary?
They go from €1 for yogurt, 40 cents a piece of fruit, up to $3.20 for your curries, and our new hot chicken rolls are $3.50. So it goes from 40 cents right back up to $3.50, so you can always find some.
What other types of hot food do you serve?
Right, well we do a lot of hot rolls, like hot chicken fillet rolls, sausage and bacon rolls. These are hot ones for the mornings. And then for the lunches we do pasta, meatballs, lasagna, the curry, and our menu will be expanding. At the moment we're on a limited menu due to restrictions of COVID in our deliveries. So there's a lot of hot food, soups, scones, pancakes, and then there's a cold one over there, and you have big sandwiches like chicken salads and BLTs, and then small little rolls as well.
That's it, thanks for Are there any changes to the new Irish Junior Cert course?
There are a couple of changes, yeah. So we'll be studying mythology, we'll be studying new songs, poems, we'll be studying a short movie as well. So there's a few exciting things to look forward to.
And will the new students be using stuff they use in 6th class?
Of course, they will, yeah. You'll be bringing on all your vocabulary and your grammar. We'll help you develop that another little bit.
And when are the students streamed into higher and ordinary level?
So after first year, in order to be considered for higher level in second year, we'd be expecting you to get 55%. So that's your target going into second year.
Okay, and do you have plans in place if students miss your class for one reason or another?
Yeah, so each Irish teacher will have a Teams page online for all their classes. Class resources and materials will be made available there should it be required for one reason or another.
That's it, thanks William.
Thank you.
Hi sir, do you mind if we ask a few questions?
Yeah, you work away.
Why should you choose German in first year?
Well, we do 3 languages in St. Peter's College, German, French and Spanish, and German is the easiest of the 3 to learn at the start because it's the most similar to English. Like there are many words in German that are exactly the same as English, like baby, glass, Milch is milk. The verbs are like drinking is to drink, schwimmen is to swim. So students tend to have a sense of ease at the start that it's so similar to English, so it's easier I think.
And what would my career prospects be like if I chose German?
Well, some of the biggest companies in the world are German. Audi, Volkswagen, Adidas, Puma, some of the best known companies in the world. So if you leave school being able to speak German or get a degree in German when you go to university, a job at those companies would be very appealing. It's the second most used language in science. It's the 3rd biggest economy in the world in Germany, so I mean, that would be a very appealing prospect to anybody studying German.
And do you do an exchange?
We do an exchange, yeah. So we have been doing an exchange since 2007, but obviously with COVID we haven't been able to run it this year or last year. But I would intend running it again in the future, and it's been very beneficial for students who have done it in the past to get over there and meet a German student similar age to them, and they can have a lot in common and speak as much German as possible when they're over there.
Thanks, mate.
No problem.
I hope our 6th class viewers and their mums and dads have enjoyed our video tour of the school. I hope you found it informative and that it gave you some insight into what life is like as a student here in the St. Peter's College community. I would now like to draw your attention to our admissions policy. The admissions policy is reviewed annually by the Board of Management. The policy is then ratified by Louth Meath Education Training Board. Some details in our policy have been updated for admissions 2021 to 2022. The full text of the policy is available on our school website at www.stpeterscc.ie. If you email or call the office, a copy will be sent to you. The selection criteria in order of priority. St Peter's College Dunboyne, County Meath will apply the following criteria in order of priority for admission to the first year group. Within each category, should the number of applicants exceed the number of places available, the category will be subdivided to give priority to applicants with siblings currently in the school over those without siblings in the school. The first category is if the student resides in the catchment area. The second category is if the student has a County Meath address and has attended a catchment feeder school. Dunboyne Senior Primary School, Sculvreda National School, Kilbride, St Peter's National School, Dunboyne, Gaelscoil Tuathach na nÓg, Dunboyne. Category 3, if the student has a County Meath address and has attended a feeder school, Kilclough National School, Rathbegan National School, Rathregan National School. Category 4, if the student is the child of a staff member. Category 5, if the student attended feeder primary schools, either Dunboyne Senior Primary School, Sculvreda National School, Kilbride, St Peter's National School, Dunboyne, Gaelscoil Tuathach na nÓg, Dunboyne, Kilclough National School, Rathbegan National School, or Rathregan National School. And category 6 is all other applicants. Our admissions notice is also available on our school website. This year, there will be 210 places available in first year 2021-2022. We have a special class called An Crannog, and there are 6 places available in that class. At the moment, all 6 places are taken, so there are no places at the moment, but this can change from year to year. If you wish to get a copy again of our admissions policy, it is via the school website or the school office, or by emailing us directly at stpeterscollege@lmetb.ie. Our application form will be available from the school website from the 2nd of October 2020 and available from the office from the 5th of October 2020. Application forms must be fully completed and signed. Incomplete forms cannot be processed and refusal letters will issue. All required documentation must be submitted with the application form. So please do take your time to read through the application form carefully, and if you have any queries, please let us know. If you need help with the application form, please email stpeterscollege@lmetb.ie. It is very important that we receive the fully completed application form and that the person handing it in receives a receipt. So ideally, a parent should submit the form in person or email the fully completed form so that a receipt can be issued and the office can confirm that the form is complete. If you choose to post the form in, please register a proof of postage. The important dates are the 26th of October. At 4 p.m. on the 26th of October 2020, it will be the closing time for applications. At this stage, you must have received a school stamped receipt confirming you have provided a full application form. By the 13th of November 2020, offer or refusal letters will be posted. And if you do receive an offer letter, you must return the acceptance forms in full by the 27th of November 2020, again at 4 p.m. We operate a student services and book scheme in the school. It covers all books and equipment, materials, photocopying, 24-hour insurance, competition fees, buses to trips, exam papers and corrections. Further details on this scheme and school uniform will follow on acceptance of a place. So finally, I would like to thank you all for visiting our school. I would also like to thank our transition year students who were in charge of the direction, the production, the post-editing and all the camera work. So thank you very much to our transition year students who have done a fantastic job. I look forward to meeting you all in the future when things return to a better normal. And if you have any queries or questions, don't hesitate to contact the school office and we will get back to you. Thank you for visiting our school.